after the November election, and they possibly spied on President Trump himself.
I have seen intelligence reports that clearly show that the president-elect and his team were, I guess, at least monitored and disseminated out in intelligence.
Among the many questions, why didn't the heads of the FBI and NSA tell us all about this 2 days ago when they were testifying before Congress? Also tonight, conservatives threatening to derail Ryan Care. More than 25 members of the House Freedom Caucus reportedly plan to vote no tomorrow. That would be more than enough to sink the Speaker's bill.
I can tell you that the opposition is still strong. They don't have the votes to pass this tomorrow. We believe that they need to start over and do a bill that actually reduces premiums.
Among our guests tonight, House Freedom Caucus member Congressman Dave Bratt, who says he's a no vote, and member of the House Rules Committee, Doug Collins, who's trying to help pass it. Good evening, everybody. A bombshell development out of the nation's capital today. The House Intelligence Committee chairman giving the public every reason now to believe that President Trump was absolutely correct when he accused President Obama of, quote-unquote, wiretapping him. Intel Chairman Devin Nunes revealing that the intelligence community surveilled members of the Trump transition team after the election and potentially the president himself.
Today I briefed the president on the concerns that I had. What I saw has nothing to do with Russia and nothing to do with the Russia investigation, has everything to do with possible surveillance activities, and the president needs to know that these intelligence reports are out there, and I have a duty to tell him. What I've read bothers me, and I think it should bother the president himself and his team, because I think some of it seems to be inappropriate.
And this was the president's response after talking with the committee chairman.
Chairman Nunes coming over here, sir.
I somewhat do. I must tell you, I somewhat do. I very much appreciated the fact that they found what they found, but I somewhat do.
And that is, of course, just one of the major stories we're covering here tonight. Terrorism in London, the death toll rising in London, where a lone attacker killed 5 people, injured at least 40 others, plowing his car through terrified pedestrians on the Westminster Bridge before fatally stabbing a police officer. Police then shot and killed the terrorist. We'll have the full report for you here tonight. Also, the lights burning a little brighter on Capitol Hill as Republican leadership trying to come to terms with what is an apparent new reality. That is, that Speaker Ryan doesn't have the votes to win repeal and replacement of Obamacare. But our top story tonight, that bombshell report from the House Intelligence Committee chairman saying surveillance was collected about the Trump transition team after President Trump had been elected. My first guest tonight says the intelligence community needs to confess what they're really up to, and they are apparently up to quite a lot. Joining me tonight, an architect of the NSA surveillance program, former NSA senior intelligence officer, also whistleblower William Binney. Well, good to have you with us. First, I've got to get your reaction to what is, without question, a blockbuster development with Chairman Nunes revealing that he's looked at apparently dozens of reports showing surveillance of the Trump transition team after the president had been elected.
Well, I mean, it even goes long before the president was elected. Right. This is all part of the upstream collection of NSA that fundamentally is after everything. And under Executive Order 12333, Section 23C, they interpret that with their secret interpretation as allowing them to collect everything on the fiber network inside the United States. Because surely they're going to, somewhere in there's a terrorist or a drug dealer or something like that. And we're really after that, but we'll collect everything and then we'll store it, and we have the ability under the authorization of that executive order to mine it and manipulate it and do anything we want to. So fundamentally, it's collecting everything on everybody in the country.
Well, Devin Nunes, using the expression incidental here. But, you know, and incidental, as we know in intelligence terms, means either peripheral or secondary. But nonetheless, it's every bit as real and every bit as much an affront to the integrity of the privacy of the president-elect himself, it appears, as well as a sizable number of his transition team. This is really raw stuff here, to be looking at the prospect that the NSA or any other agency would have the temerity to do this.
Well, that's why Senator Schumer had warned the president not to go after the intelligence community, because he said they had many ways of getting back at him. Well, this is one of them, because it's like they're J. Edgar Hoover on super steroids. They've got all this data on everybody, and if there's anything in there that can embarrass them or make them look bad, they can use that. And that's what they call incidental collection. It's everything they're collecting except the truly bad guys.
Well, bad guys. Let's talk about bad guys for a moment. I want you, as well as our audience tonight, to listen as James Comey himself denied just 3 days ago that they had been surveilling the President of the United States and the Trump team.
With respect to the President's tweets about alleged wiretapping directed at him by the prior administration, I have no information that supports those tweets. The same for the Department of Justice and all its components. The Department has no information that supports those tweets.
And yet here we are, less than 72 hours later, and the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee bringing forth these reports that show that the Trump transition team, and indeed, perhaps, but not certainly, the president-elect himself at that point, being surveilled.
Well, I would point out that both Admiral Rogers and Director Comey all knew about this Stellar Wind program, the domestic collection program run it by NSA, which is capturing everything. He's known about that since the hospital visit to Ashcroft back in 2004. So, I mean, this is nothing new to them. They know about this. You should ask them, how do you define incidental collection? It's everything that they're collecting except the bad guys. But that means they're still collecting everything. And then the Fairview program is the main program they use for that, but they have other ones too. So.
And the unmasking of the U.S. citizens in this, the acknowledgement that, the confession that U.S. citizens were unmasked across a broad plane of agencies and intelligence personnel. This is really nasty stuff, isn't it?
Yes. Well, it's a direct violation of the First, Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendments to the Constitution, as well as any other number of laws that we've had, the pen register laws, electronic privacy, electronic security. All of those laws are being violated, all the regulations governing the FCC and all of that. And by the way, the number they gave, about 20 people only able to unmask it, that's false.
I believe
that's only the people who they authorized to do it.
Right.
Really, there are probably up to 2,000 people who can access the unmasked data.
Yeah.
That includes the managers
one had
of the network.
Feeling, one had the feeling that...
And also computer programmers.
One had the feeling that Admiral Rogers was being within the painted lines on that. But the intelligence community, you're looking at 17 agencies. Good Lord, we have no idea how many people were doing that, nor do we have yet even a clear instinct, some at least insight, because of what was released to the Intelligence Committee chairman, that the president's either instincts or his information on whether or not he and the rest of his team were being surveilled was pretty good. William Benny, as always, good to have you with us. Thanks so much.
Thanks for being with you. Good to be with you.
You got it. Thank you. We're coming right back. A lot more to cover on what has been truly a historic news day. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The Trump administration says now is the time to repeal and replace Obamacare.
If you want to see Obamacare repealed and replaced, this is the vote. This is the time to act. This vote needs to happen.
Leading Republican, member of the Rules Committee, Congressman Doug Collins, joins us here next. Breaking news now. White House sources telling Fox News that they believe they're close to a deal right now on RyanCare. This is a complete reversal of both tone and attitude and mood, as well as